Are you ready to take your investment game to the next level? Introducing Digital Investor, your ultimate guide to mastering the digital marketplace. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, Digital Investor brings you cutting-edge game theoretical strategies, expert insights, and real-time tips and tactics to analyze, evaluate, invest, and grow your wealth. Don't miss out on the digital revolution. Visit www.nickblacknex.com and start your journey with Digital Investor today.
All right. Let's see. See if we got all the things we need. Yeah. Agenda. Prices, markets, all of it. All right, good. Yay. Bam. Okay, so let me put on the comments. Okay, kind of markets melting kind of sideways to upish. There's a lot of macro stuff. The tariff imputations for Korea, South Korea, and I don't think we do any business with North Korea, and Japan. I think those are 25%. So that was sending some shockwaves yesterday, but that was only in the kind of greater markets. And I think, but the Dow was way up yesterday. Now it is kind of down, and the other markets seem to be gaining a little bit of traction. And yeah, so that's on the macro, not a lot. On the narrower end of our crypto spectrum, we can take a look really quick and just see where things are. Those DGen coins up over 108, so we're up on the day. So we're better than yesterday. So whatever was going on yesterday, we're better than that. Yay! And both the 24-hour, the 7-day, the 30-day, the 90-day, everything up, marginally, but up. It's good. Yeah. So there's not really a lot of super exciting stuff going on. Everything is kind of flat. A couple things. Jupiter's down, but most things are flat, and it's just a point or two here or there. Obviously, hypercycle. Right now there's no utility for the token. So it makes sense that it would be selling off. GMRT, although they claim different, there's no utility for the token, so it makes sense that it would be selling off. I mean, why would people hoard the token if you don't need to use it? So basically, I read that response yesterday, but they said they haven't implemented the Web3 aspect of their company yet, but they're planning on it. So let's hope those plans continue. I guess. Whatever. All right. Yeah. Everything else, just quiet. Quiet is. For those of you that were asking about Ethereum-based loans when you borrow you wanted to borrow USDC against Ethereum. On Morpho, the way you do it is you wrap your Ethereum in staked Ethereum, like wrapped staked Ethereum. So when you look at your account, it's actually going to be in terms of this asset, wrapped stake Ethereum. If you're in the wrapped stake Ethereum USDC vault, which I'd say most of you probably are. So that's what you're going to be looking at, not the Ethereum number. So just be careful when you guys are borrowing against your assets. You better have something to do with them that's going to make money. Don't just borrow them to buy stupid shit. Don't borrow against them to buy stupid shit. If you're going to borrow money, you better have a place to put it where it makes way more than the money it costs to borrow the money. You dig? So that's pretty important. You can borrow against Bitcoin by wrapping it and then borrowing against it. And again, you get up to an 86% loan to value, but that would be right at the liquidation level. So I recommend you to be right around 50%. And then you have a big fat cushion, and you're not going to be panicking. But remember, you need to make sure that money is productive. Don't just go buy a car. Don't do that. That is unproductive. And don't be like, I'm going to buy a car so I can drive Uber Eats. No, my friend, that is not productive. That is the plan to being poor. The roadmap, that's the poor man's roadmap. Not that driving an Uber is bad, but don't borrow money to drive Uber. You're not going to make enough to make up the difference. You need something that's going to rack some real returns, which is why I am kind of more excited about the options market as far as a way to put money to work. Well, I'm very excited about it. I'm actually doing a cash out refi on my house to grab some of that delicious equity that I've got. So I'm gonna grab something from there, and I'm gonna throw it back in the options market as well. You know what I'm saying? I like this old infinite money machine that they call the Wall Street machine. I like it. So, okay, speaking of infinite money machines, we'll talk about strategy, Ponzi, posting gains, 14 billion in gains, but they have paused some of their purchasing, so we'll talk about that. Their volatility on their equities going down, which is not good. I mean, it's a volatility mining play for the bond holders. For the equity holders, they're just straight dumbasses. But here, listen, I have a deal. It's the same along the lines of the strategy deal. Anybody here that wants to buy $100,000, like if you want to buy $100,000 from me, I'll sell that 100,000 for 200,000, and we can do it all day long, man. Okay, so my minimums will be 10,000. So if you want to buy 10,000, it's going to cost you 20,000 because I'm just using the strategy playbook. Just same thing Michael Saylor did. So, but I'll go up to whatever level you want. If you want to buy $1 million, it'll only cost you $2 million. If you want to buy, for those of you with deep pockets, if you want to buy $10 million, I'll sell you it for $20 million because that's the kind of guy I am. I lose a little on every deal, but I'll make it up in volume. So anyway, yeah, we'll talk about strategy. BlackRock, their iShares Bitcoin ETF surges past 700,000 Bitcoin. It is wildly successful. That is good. That is good. All things good. All things good. And then Metaplanet wants to start using their Bitcoin holdings for acquisition. So we'll get into that a little bit. And if you have questions, by all means, write the word question or ask your question. And then we'll try to knock it out. That's what Tuesdays is. Office hours. Okay, let's take a look. First, let's see if we have do we have a strategy? Hold on. Oh, that's kind of cool. That's kind of businessy, right? Or no, wait. Coins, strategy. Yeah, strategy's more coiny. So they're definitely more corny. In the second quarter of 2025, Michael Saylor's led strategy reported 14.05 billion in unrealized gains on its Bitcoin holdings. Remember, if you own shares, if you own equity, you don't own this. Keep in mind, you do not get any of this. If they go sideways, upside down, insolvent, whatever, you don't get any of this. Senior note holders, bond holders may get something. You, as an equity holder, you don't get a fucking thing. Keep that in mind. So Michael's doing great. The bond holders, they doing awesome. You guys that are financing it are idiots. And yeah, if you can hear my honey-laden voice, if you own Strategy shares, MSTR, you, my friend, you're well-intentioned. You're a fucking idiot. And don't be like, I ain't hating these gains, because that's a loser's retort. All right. Despite dim gains, the firm paused its consistent Bitcoin accumulation last week, maintaining its total holdings at 597,325 Bitcoin. You think they would have bought the extra 3,000 just to get to 600K, right? The psychology of it. This move coincided with a new 4.2 billion at the market equity offering. These idiots. So they're going to offer more equity that's aimed for funding future BTC purchases, in parentheses, as well as other corporate purposes. So I don't know why people don't buy Bitcoin. Why do you want to pay for his other corporate purposes? Debt service, company bonuses, more tax fraud on his part. Anyway, meanwhile, Japan's, we're going to get into Metaplanet a little bit deeper. Metaplanet keeps ramping up its Bitcoin reserves. They've acquired another 2,204 Bitcoin, solidifying their position as the 5th largest corporate holder, which is kind of cool. CleanSpark saw major growth when it boosted its efforts in mining output by over 50% year over year, raised its hash rate to 50 EHS, which I guess something hashes, some weird name, exo hash, I don't know, some cool shit. Anyway, its stock dipped nearly 8% despite the progress. Yeah, you just can't make some people happy. Let's see. Strategy tops 14 billion in gains. They reported 14.05 billion in unrealized gains on their digital asset holdings for the second quarter of 2025. Alongside this impressive figure, the company disclosed a deferred tax expense of 4.04 billion, according to its latest filing with the U.S. SEC as of June 30th. Okay, a deferred tax expense, meaning in the bad side of the books. When you're balancing the books, a $4 billion tax expense is on the bad side. That's the bad side. Anyway, we know that Strategy burns about $4 to $5 billion every single quarter. Like, that's what they lose. I don't even know. It's so astronomical. I don't know how you lose that much. I'm not sure how that's even fucking possible. But they do it. Good for them. And you idiots buying their shares, also good for them. Not good for you. Good for them. As of June 30th, the carrying value of Strategy's Bitcoin holdings reached 64.36 billion, while the related tax-deferred liability stood at 6.31 billion. Despite the impressive gains, Strategy paused its consistent Bitcoin accumulation last week. The firm's total holdings stayed unchanged at 597,325 after its most recent acquisition of 4,980 Bitcoin. This break in weekly purchases was the first since April 2025 and came as Bitcoin's price briefly dropped to 105 before rebounding above 110. So when the price dropped to 105, they paused purchasing. We're supposed to believe that they're going to start it back up again once it goes back up, or because it's already back up. Kind of makes you wonder what their game plan is over there. Oh, wait, it's sell idiots equity, that meaningless equity tickets, and purchasing Bitcoin, which none of the equity holders ever get. Isn't that cool? The company had previously halted purchases when Bitcoin fell below 87,000 earlier in the year. After that pause, they resumed buying with a 3,459 purchase on April 14th, 2 weeks after its massive 22,000 BTC acquisition on March 31st. Again, other people's money, other people's money. Strategy makes no money. Other people's money. You guys are financing this $2 for $1 thing. Whatever. The newly reported unrealized gains slightly exceeded Bloomberg's earlier projections, which estimated Strategy would post at least $13 billion in gains for the quarter. In conjunction with the earnings announcement, Strategy also unveiled a new $4.2 billion at-the-market offering for its 10% Series A perpetual stride preferred stock, priced at a tenth of 1 penny per share. A tenth of a penny per share. This latest at-the-money program is part of the company's equity raising strategy that is designed to fund future Bitcoin purchases without leaving them on the hook for anything ever. You guys give them money, they use it to buy about half its worth of Bitcoin. They pocket the rest of that shit, and you guys somehow feel good about that. Crazy. It's crazy. According to an investor presentation, Strategy already issued $477 million under the STRK at the money, at $163 million under the STRF at the money. The firm reported a total remaining at the money capacity of $44.8 billion across its various programs, which includes $18.1 billion for Strategy MSTR, $4.2 billion for STRD, stirred, which rhymes with turd, $20.5 billion for STRK, and $1.9 billion for STRF. These strategic funding mechanisms are part of Strategy's continued effort to maintain its dominant position in the market while navigating short-term volatility and tax considerations. I bet you money that some of the money, that when they raise money, they're paying dividends based on the money they've raised. Well, they don't sell Bitcoin and they don't have a company. MicroStrategy no longer exists. It's just called Strategy. There is no business intelligence part of this company. All they do is buy Bitcoin. Every $2 they take in, they buy $1 of Bitcoin. Think about that for a second. You're financing these motherfuckers paying their dividend and lining their pockets. Man, people got to wake the fuck up. God damn. Anyway, good for MicroStrategy, bad for all of you. This is cool. So this is a list. Let's see if I can get it up there. Yeah, see that? That's a list of the current holdings. Let me take off the banner real quick. Take off the banner, and then we'll talk about BlackRock. So MicroStrategy at 597,325. Mara Holdings Mining at 50,000. XXI 21 at 37,230. Riot Platforms 19,225. Metaplanet. Where's I keep looking for GameStop. I don't see Where's GameStop? That's weird. So they took in billions of dollars and they're not even in the top 10? Huh. Weird, isn't it? Let's see. Mike Novogratz, scummy, spammy, bullshitty. I got a Luna tattoo firm, Galaxy Digital Holdings, which is in Canada, not in the United States, because they really can't operate in the United States, but they can list in the United States. Very weird. I can't tell if the guy's going to jail or going to MSNBC. Like, it's really hard to tell. Anyway, they've got Galaxy, spammy ass Galaxy. They have 12,830 tokens. The Bitcoins. Clean Spark Inc. has 12,500. Tesla has 11,509. That's obviously lower than they did have. Remember, they had to sell some Bitcoin to offset a losing quarter a while back, a few years ago. That was like a thing. Hut 8 Mining, 10,000, and Coinbase Global, 9,260. So there you go. So yay, I guess, kind of a yay, whatever. Anyway, bam. So there's that. All right, let's go to the city. Let's go to the city, y'all. Okay, let's talk about an actual company that's not shitting the bed, and that is BlackRock and their iShares Bitcoin ETF surging past 700,000 Bitcoin in what looks to be a record-breaking run. Oh, do I have a little BlackRock thing? I think I do. No. Crap. No. Nope. That's weird. Stablecoin bank dollar. Oh, damn. That should have been a picture. Oh, well, doesn't matter. I had a cool BlackRock picture, but it wouldn't. I was pulling some shenanigans. You're not going to pull shenanigans with me. I'm going to out shenanigan you, mother effer. I'll be the one with shenanigans around here. Thank you. Bam. We're going to talk about BlackRock. Let's talk about BlackRock. BlackRock's IBIT, which many of you may be trading as part of your option strategy. And actually, let me get to this question over here. I don't want to ignore. If strategy were to implode, would it drag down the price of Bitcoin? And could that bring Morpho loans closer to the liquidation level? Well, okay, Kurt, the second part of the question you've already answered. That's anything that would lower the price would bring you lower to the liquidation level. So the second part of the question, not necessary. First part, let's study the first part. If strategy were to implode, would it drag down the price of Bitcoin? Yes. Yes. Even if they didn't sell, because they have no obligation to sell, right? These people are all taking risks, lending them money. Now, if there was some weird liquidation, you imagine they would try to OTC most of their assets, but they've gotten so big that now, he's too big to jail, too big to fail. So other companies like BlackRock would step in and probably stake him or back him or slowly buy his Bitcoin, because you couldn't. At this point, they can't let him fail. So, and this is bad too. This is like people started driving faster once every car had seatbelts. Why? Because they felt safer. So they felt like driving faster. So what do? You end up driving faster and driving to the limit of what seatbelt safety effectiveness is and efficacy. And then you die all the same. So what he's doing is he knows he's gotten so big that everyone has to bail him out. So he knows he can just put the pedal to the metal and run this motherfucker off the rails because people have to back him. They have to protect him. So they will. The BlackRock and Fidelity and all those guys, they will come to his rescue, because right now, at least, he's doing them a solid. He's a constant buyer in the market. And there's enough idiots that support strategy that he can get away with it. So if you're BlackRock and these guys, you're like, yeah, well, what the hell? Why not? Bitcoin treasury companies, hell yeah. A bunch of loser companies that rebrand? Yes, let's do it. So, well, remember though, the Epstein's that wasn't just about money. That was about careers and politics and all sorts of other shit. But yeah, he's safe. They're going to have to bail him out. So now he can run and do even crazier, more stupid, more leveragey. And if you ever want to just sit back and look at the rank stupidity of the financial markets, you don't have to look any further than the function of strategy. From when it was MicroStrategy and a little fraudulent little company where people were supposed to go to jail, to 25 years later where they have failed as a business intelligence company. They hemorrhage billions of dollars a quarter, but because they've convinced an even dumber group of people to buy their stock so that they can buy Bitcoin, I guess they have an infinite money machine. Good on them, I guess. But yeah, if strategy were to implode, the psychology would probably drag the price down, even if they didn't have to offload Bitcoin. Because then it would say, wait a minute, this is all bullshit. He was running a Ponzi scheme. There's going to be a lot of, a lot of armchair quarterbacking. Oh, everybody on CNBC, well, of course this was going to happen. It was obvious this was going to happen. Really? It wasn't fucking obvious when you guys were, carting this asshole around, giving him interviews and shit. So, yeah. And look, if Bitcoin maintains its kind of consistency and governments keep printing money the way they do, Saylor is likely to get away with this for a long time. I think the higher the price goes, when those dips come, I don't know if that's sustainable for him. I also think the higher the price comes, the less interesting it is for people to own shares. at some point, people will stop paying $2 for a dollar worth of Bitcoin. At some point, they'll go, well, we should just buy the ETF. Yeah, you should buy the fucking ETF. What are you, stupid? So, yeah, but we'll see. What could that make? There's no way to know that. There's no way on earth to know that. Because they wouldn't. I mean, you would imagine most of well, first of all, no Bitcoin would hit the market. It would be as much OTC as possible. Whoever custodies their stuff, whatever situation that looks like. But yeah. Yep. Okay. But anyway, BlackRock is doing just fine. BlackRock is the opposite of strategy. They're making money, and they're not, at least obviously, running a Ponzi scheme. So IBIT has become the third largest revenue driver among nearly 1,200 different funds as spot Bitcoin ETFs reshape the investment landscape for most retail investors. BlackRock's IBIT now holds 700,000 Bitcoin and has gathered 76 billion in assets under management, surpassing major ETFs like IVV, which is on this the S&P 500, and the IWM, which is the Russell 2000. Since their introduction just 18 months ago, U.S. spot Bitcoin ETFs have attracted 50 billion in net inflows, with IBIT leading the charge. Grayscale's GBTC and Fidelity's FBTC hold 184,000 and 203,000 Bitcoin, respectively. That is a lot. But it frails in comparison to the 700,000. And remember, Grayscale probably should be at the top of this pile, but they shit the bed so bad when they priced. They were just greedy. They're just greedy. There's a company that imploded, they're not imploded, but there's a company that lost half their value just due to sheer, stupid boardroom greed. That's it. Just a bunch of dumbasses that know not what they do. And just have they can't read the room at all. But BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust now holds 700,000 Bitcoin. They've amassed 76 billion in assets under management in just 18 months, outstripping the iShares Core S&P 500 ETF, which tracks the U.S. equity benchmark, and the iShares Russell 2000 ETF, which tracks the performance of small cap U.S. stocks. There you go. Yeah, man. I mean, good on them. They obviously are ahead of strategy, which is good because that's not safe, competent money. Strategy owns nearly 600,000 Bitcoin, which we talked about earlier. They started their purchases in 2020 and compares with Fidelity's FBTC, which is FBTC has 203,000 Bitcoin, and Grayscale has Grayscale. I know it sounds bad, but they are all the way down to 184,000 Bitcoin. They really disintegrated. They should have been the biggest, the best. They would be the best ETF. They'd be amazing, but they're terrible. And they're still terrible. Their pricing is still garbage. They still haven't figured it. This is like how long into this do you guys need to know at Grayscale what the landscape looks like before you guys make some adjustments? Like, are you guys this stupid? Maybe they knew. Maybe what it is maybe I've got it all wrong. Maybe Grayscale knew they were never going to meaningfully compete with BlackRock. Wouldn't it be funny if that was the thing? Oh, let me adjust intensity and time. Whoa. Anyway, pretty interesting stuff. The fact that they, in 18 months, have 700,000 Bitcoin, that's pretty badass. U.S. spot Bitcoin exchange traded funds, ETFs. These Bitcoin ETFs debuted in January of 2024. They become the most successful ETF introductions of all time. Surprise, surprise. It's another scammy person calling. A lot of scammy calls lately. I'm getting a lot of scammy calls, like 10 to 15 a day. Since inception, these Bitcoin ETFs have attracted 50 billion in net inflows. IBIT is now the third highest revenue generating ETF for BlackRock across all ETF products. So yeah, pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. We'll see where it all shall go. And then finally, Metaplanet is eyeing up phase 2 of its Bitcoin treasury strategy, says Simon Jedovich in an interview. Again, when you hear Bitcoin treasury strategy, first think failed business. And after you think failed business, think Bitcoin rebranding to make you forget about failed business. So for those of you out there that have a terrible business, you're awful at what you do, you might look into rebranding as a Bitcoin treasury company. Then you're good to go. Huh? Think about it. Okay. Metaplanet, which has the largest corporate Bitcoin stash outside of North America, will use Bitcoin as collateral to finance acquisitions of cash-generating businesses, unlike their own, right? So when your business doesn't generate money, you can go buy some other businesses that generate money. You know? Okay. So the Japanese hotel company turned Bitcoin investor acquired 2,205 Bitcoin this week, increasing its holdings to 15,555 Bitcoin, a little bit around 1.7, a little bit over $1.7 billion. CEO Simon Gerovich described phase 2 of its Bitcoin treasury strategy as using its Bitcoin to gain financial fuel for acquisitions and financing. They're eyeing their phase 2 of their strategy. The Financial Times reported all this on Tuesday, citing an interview with the CEO. They have the largest stash of Bitcoin outside of like North American companies. So, and they want to use it as collateral. So, in his words, they said, we need to accumulate as much Bitcoin as we can to get to a point where we've reached escape velocity, and it just makes it very difficult for others to catch up, Jerovich said, according to FT's report. Then we have phase 2, when Bitcoin, like securities or government bonds, can be deposited with banks, and they'll provide very attractive financing against that asset. We'll get cash that we can use to buy profitable businesses, cash flowing businesses. See, at least this makes sense to me. This isn't just buy Bitcoin so that Michael Saylor can pocket Bitcoin and take it to his grave, apparently. So it's another reason why I don't know why anybody would give him one, not even a stolen dollar, dude, not even a found dollar. But anyway, but at least these guys have this idea that, look, you know, once you can use Bitcoin as collateral, we'd like to collateralize it and go buy businesses that do make money, unlike our business. Yes, that makes sense. That at least makes sense, right? You could say, okay, bad company, now they own Bitcoin. They're still a bad company, but now they're buying companies that generate cash. Okay. And they're borrowing against their appreciating asset, which is Bitcoin. Okay, I get it. All right. The bad becomes good. The gross, what is it? Like the gross maid becomes the beautiful princess at the ball, and she dances with somebody. All right. That's good. So if they do buy cash flowing businesses, that would be great. That could even be profitable. So there are a bunch of crypto native companies that are offering crypto lending, right? Like the Morphos of the world and Aves and things like that, Compound. But it is pretty rare. Well, there's also Salt lending. There's, what's the crappy one in Canada? Oh, it doesn't matter. Anyway, Metaplanet added that their phase 1 would probably last 4 to 6 years. So just buying Bitcoin for 4 to 6 years. Again, this is where they're still in the bad company. They're still a bad company. So 4 to 6 more years of bad company. After which it would become incrementally more difficult to acquire Bitcoin due to tightening availability. Okay, great. Well, scarcity argument. Okay, so they want to buy Bitcoin for 4 years, 4 to 6 years. And then once that's done, they'll start levering up that Bitcoin to buy cash flowing businesses, because at least at this point, they are not that. Metaplanet's Tokyo listed shares closed at about $10.71. So in yen terms, it's like 1,565 yen on Tuesday, Japan's Tuesday, because remember they're in Japan. Up a little bit less than a point on the day. The company did not immediately respond to any other questions about what their timelines are. They just, this is what it is. So yeah. But yeah, when you see Bitcoin Treasury Company, you should immediately recoil, because that's usually the sign that the company has failed, and that this is a scammy, bullshitty parlor show trick to look like you have some clue about life. Okay, bam. Let's get back to the view. Okay, what do we got? Question wise, let's see. Did I miss one? Craig looked at selling some Fidelity FBTC covered calls, but the spreads were so wide, difficult to place a trade. Well, no, it's not difficult to place a trade, Craig. You just don't want to give up those spreads. The spread should tighten if you're deeper in the money. If you really just want to get out of them, then sell some in the money covered calls. Okay. And then be out of it. You make a little bit of time decay, but you'll be out. See you later. Bye. If you really want out. If you want out, you can get out. Joseph is out. Good day to you, sir. Okay. What are mirror tokens? How do they work, and how can you make money from it? I think what you're talking about is stock, like tokens that mirror stocks, and it would just be like owning the stock. So how can you make money from it? You buy it and number go up. It's pretty much that simple. You buy it, number go up. I don't think that's all that exciting. I mean, I guess cool if you can buy it all in one place. Did you see that Coinbase applied for their banking license, which is, I said for years, anybody that will listen, Coinbase wants to be a bank. They want to be a lender. They want to get into, spinning up home loans and all this kind of stuff. And Carla, listen, if these crypto exchanges get banking licenses and can start extending credit and debt and cash availability and all these kind of the 3 C's, quality credit, cash, good solid collateral availability. Like if they can collateralize loans and all this kind of stuff, they're going to destroy banks, probably all the way up and until the prime brokers, those 23 or so banks that deal directly with the Federal Reserve that get those special status and basically get to lie, cheat, and steal and get away with it. So that would be big for Coinbase. If they got their banking license, that would be freaking massive from Coinbase. So I hope they get it. Be awesome. Can you imagine just getting a home loan right there at Coinbase? I'll get my home. 3 clicks. There's your collateral. You don't get a finger up your ass. You don't get, where'd that come from? None of your fucking business where it came from. The money's in the account. Give me my fucking home loan. No, at Coinbase, it would just be automated. Click, 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 done. Man, can you imagine? I can. Okay, question. Can Ondo do a 50X? I mean, can it? Yeah, if a bunch of people came in and wanted to pile into it, is that likely? I don't think so. I don't think that's at all likely. Is it 50X exciting to you? Like, if you think something's going to do a 50X, looking at the market right now, what's the only other asset? The only other asset in the entire world. Here, let's go over here. Let's put some, get to our markets music. Is there any asset on here other than Bitcoin that you think has a 50X in it? 50. Oh, let's go. Let's go through the list. Bitcoin, yes. Ethereum, no. XRP, hell no. Cardano, no. Universe, Hyperliquid, no. SUI, 50x, $100. Make it $1 trillion asset? No. XLM, absolutely not. Monero, no. Aptos, never. Ondo, no. Think about that. They're at 2 billion. So do we think this thing can go to 100 billion? 100 billion? That puts them in the category of like top 3 or 4 assets, top 4 or 5 assets. No. I mean, can they? Yes. Is it likely? No. Maybe there's a 5 to 8x in there. Maybe. Obviously, as the price gets lower each day, the achievable X's look higher. But I would not expect that. I mean, you would have to they really have to be processing a lot of transactions. The whole universe would have to be sitting on top of them. And it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. I mean, all these new companies that are going to come into the stablecoin market, which is a lot of them, you think they're going to leverage Ondo? Why? They're going to have to own treasuries and all this kind of stuff. They're just going to do it on their own. I don't know. Maybe there's a 5x in there. I don't know. Fetch, 50x, no. VeChain, 50. Could they get to $1? No, they're all-time high. At the best that they were ever was a quarter of that. Filecoin. Filecoin's funny. I mean, it had its big run. Is it ever going back to $200? Probably not. Is it ever going back to $100? Nope. 50? Probably not. 20? 10 to 20? Probably. So there's a 5 to 10x there. Optimism? No, that ship has sailed. Graph token? No. Just not interesting to people. I mean, it wouldn't take much, right? They still have to beat their all-time high, but like $4.50, $5, you got your 50x. But is it possible? Yes. Is it logical? No. Is it reasonable? No. Well, you got to look at things through a sense of logic and reasonableness. If it possesses neither of those, Zcash, no. Jupiter, 50, no. No. Say 50x. So $1.25. 1250? 1250? I mean, the only reason I say maybe on like with Say is only because people are starting to pump it. And if they pump it, could you for a short period of time, a tiny little short period of time, get this market cap up to 25 billion? Maybe. But I wouldn't count on that. It's a garbage project. Matic, no. Arweave, no. It's got a 5 to 10x in it, but not a 50. Sia coin. Well, any of these little crappy coins, they wouldn't have to do much to get a 25 or 50x. But I would just say no. 50x, no. Nope. The bridge, $1. Well, the thing is, the bridge is awesome. If they ever learn how to manage their token, remember they've only been out, it's been a little bit over a year, maybe. I'm gonna say maybe on the bridge, only because it's cheap as shit. It's 2 cents, and could there be some crazy run to $1? I mean, maybe, right? They do have a good product. It works great. I use it every day. Every day I do any crypto swapping of any kind, I use the bridge. Other than MetaMask, there's nothing else. There's nothing else I use all the time. Just nothing. So, I mean, maybe I should buy some more to bridge. Rejuve, no. Stake teeth, no. Well, at half a penny, could $2.50 come? Well, I mean, actually, it wouldn't even be that, would it? It would be like 25 cents. 25 cents. Could 25 cents come out of GMRT? Yes. Yes, you could get 25 cents in a run when people need the token. I think 25 cents is a not completely outlandish idea. And then Hypercycle. Oh, Hypercycle. How far are you fallen? $1.50? Yeesh. I mean, it got $1.18. It got $1.18. So is $1.50-ish possible? In a world where nodes were making a lot of money and no one wanted to sell those nodes, and the only way in was to start fresh, yes. But there's a lot of what ifs. What ifs? What if my aunt got a sex change? Then she'd be my uncle. A lot of what ifs. Twin token. Can it ever be? Oh, wait, there is no price because there's so little going on and they are so bad at governance. By the way, they messaged me and they said, oh, we're definitely working on a plan for these buybacks. What plan? Do the fucking buybacks. What? You don't need a plan. There's no plan necessary. Do the buybacks. Did the people pay you money? Yeah, do the fucking buybacks. What plan do you need? Oh, we want to really automate it. Why? Is one sale, one purchase a day ludicrous? You don't have anybody in your office of dumb fucks that's doing nothing? Anybody in that big old office of nothing doers can click one fucking button in your MetaMask account? Like, these guys act like they're some Fortune 500 company, man. You are, I'm not even going to read that response. It would just make you mad, like it made me mad. Let's see. I bet the big banking institutions will fight this tooth and nail. Yeah, to an extent, but then you also have all these companies that are coming in to essentially private banking through stablecoin creation. So what can you do? I mean, like, what can you really do? That's the thing. I don't think that they can really. I mean, of course they're going to fight the Elizabeth Warrens and all these kind of people, but it's like, what can they really do? I don't know that. I think that their capabilities are pretty muted at this point. At least with this administration, they got nothing coming. These banks and stuff step up and try to big dick. Remember, Trump and his guys, they're not big fans of big banks either. So if these guys try to come up in Elizabeth Warren shit like they did a few years ago, no, I think I think all of that gets stepped on, and any of those attempts are pretty benign. Okay, 50x is going to be something extremely small market cap or high foot. Yeah, I think so. Drux, I think that's a really good statement. 50x is just a disproportionate ask, and it would just be some spammy shit with a tiny market cap or some really ridiculous, news cycle or press cycle or bullshitty launch cycle, something like that. I don't see it with any kind of. I don't see it being realistic for any quality assets other than Bitcoin. What's up with Hypercycle? Has Tranche 1 started? William, buddy, get over there and look at it. You guys know there's there's like 2 different Hypercycle groups. You guys can go join their Telegram groups. Don't get your information secondhand from us when you can go get it firsthand right there in the group. They have admins that answer questions all day long till you make them mad. So I don't know that. I don't know what has. I know that no one's making money yet. I know that, William, and that's for me. Until people are making money, I'm not lifting a finger. I ain't doing shit. And listen, I have a lot of nodes. When I say a lot, I mean a lot. I don't even know what the number is because I haven't claimed them, but it's a gargantuan amount. Gargantuan. Yeah, it's a lot. So anyway, and I haven't done anything with them because they're not making money. So I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to do it until there's money to be made. I don't care if it's like $40. I'll take it. $20. Give me $18. I'll take $18. I'm not above it. I'm not that guy. I will pick up a quarter off the street. I don't think I'd pick up a nickel, because it's just, what are you going to do with nickels, God? What are you going to do with nickels and pennies? Leave them for the next guy. But a quarter or a dime, you better believe I'm going to pick that shit up. You can put those in the parking meters, my friend. That right there is parking meter fuel. Yeah, but no. If I knew something nobody else knows, and I haven't said it, why would I say it? If I knew something no one else knows, well, first of all, if I knew something no one else knew, then I would know something that not even Hypercycle knows. So in that scenario, they wouldn't even know that I know the thing that I know that no one else knows. But in the situation where I might know something that nobody else knows in the other chat groups, then it's probably because either I'm not allowed to discuss it, or I don't really know what I know. Maybe I know something that no one else knows, and I don't know that I know it. How would I know unless I know what everybody else knows, you know? Anyway, food for thought. I want you to play that back slowly, William, over the course of the day, and I want you to unpack it. Hooday! What up? So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Anyway, from the options perspective, things are great. This would be perfect. If we can get a week, I mean, we kind of want things to do exactly what they're doing. Let me take a look at this bad boy. Oh, sweet baby Jesus. Right there. Wow. Me, just one guy talking. I would love a close to the week of about between 1925 and 19. I mean, ideally, the week would close at 1949. Everything I got would expire worthless. Everything. But anyway, yeah, we'll see. Okay. That's right, William. I know nothing. Or I don't know what I know. I don't know what I do know, which means I don't know what I don't know. You know? Yeah. So anyway, a little kind of exercise that I want you guys to do. For those of you that are in the options game, I know it is crazy talk, Barry. It's too much crazy talk. This is the world we live in. What I want you guys to do, if you're in the options market, or if you're watching, you're just paper trading or whatever, I want you to go look at what your positions were on Thursday of last week, and I want you to look at the closing price of Ethereum. Well, in this case, if you're trading ETHA, you can do the same thing for IBIT. And I want you to go look at the time decay that was generated between Wednesday. Most of you made your moves probably Thursday. So between Thursday before the close of the market and then Monday when it opened up, I want you to look at that big ass pile of time decay, because there was a lot of it. It was fortuitous. So I want you to look at what that time decay was. And when you're thinking about these things, especially in the options market, realize how valuable that time decay is, and how time decay is what's on your side. You don't know what the price is going to do, up, down, left, right, sideways. There's no way to know that. But what you can know is that there is time decay in these options premiums, and you are mining time decay, and that dislocation between 24-hour markets and 168 hours a week and 32 and a half hours a week, which is what participants, except on holiday weeks where you lose half a day on Thursday and you lose Friday. Now we're in the 20s, 20-something hours. 20-something hours is all those people got. Think about that. Do you think that the optics of Hypercycle token price is hurting Hypercycle? No, because the token price never meant anything. We've said this from the beginning too. All it was your barrier to entry to get your licenses and nodes and get them married together. The token price itself doesn't mean much. Once you have your licenses and your nodes and they're married and you have a node factory, token doesn't mean shit. Matter of fact, it may never again mean shit. So yeah. Ooh, dang. That's nice, Craig. 70 cents. Yeah, time decay, am I right? Love me some time decay. Anyway, this is a good experiment for you guys to do, or it's a good lesson. It's a good exercise. So go back, look at your time decay, get your mind right, think about why you're in the options market if you are, and that is the constant churn and grind of continual residual income, sometimes a little, sometimes a lot, Sometimes just right. Just right is actually a lot. So there you go. And don't go chasing strike prices. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Stick to the strike prices that you got put in at. I think we could probably remake that song and make it an option song. But let's not do that because that's gross. Let's let AI do that because it would probably do it in a better way. All right. Stay in school. Don't do drugs. Don't do anything. My parents all were drunk. Starting a meth. Grandmother wouldn't do. And for those of you that are not digital investors, you should be. You should be. And remember, these are investments. Don't get stressed out, man. All right? Don't get stressed. Let's see. You pushed Hypercycle to be 15% of the portfolio. Don't tell us you didn't push it. No, I never told you to do anything, William. I've never told anyone to do anything. I tell you what I would do, and I also pushed that Hypercycle should not be treated as a token. So make sure, William, if you're going to quote me correctly, because I have the memory of an elephant. Yeah, it's not the only thing. You know what I'm saying? And on that note, I bid you adieu. Remember, if you're investing enough that you're getting depressed or it's affecting you emotionally, you are over invested. Sell it. Go get a popsicle, relax, cool off. It's hot during the summer. You don't need your emotions on top of it.
Killing time, no place to go. Everybody's feeling low. All alone in the street like glow. You fall into your head. It's all that you want. It's all that you need. Take some time to make believe. It's all that you want. It's all that you need. Just some time to make believe. It's all that you want. Time, no place to go. Everybody's feeling low. All alone in the street like glow. You fall into your head. It's all that you want.